All right, Taurus, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for September of 2015. My name is Athen. So a very powerful month in the astrology and probably will be in each of our own lives. We've got eclipses taking place this month, very important there. Mercury going retrograde. We got a lot of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, all kinds of stuff. So let's go ahead and go through it. One thing I want to say too, though, is that if you're new to sidereal astrology, do check the description down below because your sign will likely be different if you're used to the mainstream version of astrology. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And by the way, if you want more information on this, do check your weeklies where I'll dive into this in more detail. But there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to just go through it one by one. All right, so we've got your ruler, still retrograde coming into this month, but she's going to be going direct, Venus, here around the 5th and 6th. So you guys are in this coming into this month in this more of the introverted kind of energy, but what's interesting about that is that your ruler is conjuncting up to Mars, and Mars is actually shifting into a much more favorable position of the chart, which is Leo, generally speaking. Now, Mars is at the bottom of the chart, so your guys' energy levels generally are probably at a low, generally speaking, especially with the sun at the bottom, because these planets prefer to be at the top. But still, I think with things starting to shift, there's more of that extroverted kind of energy where your ruler will start to gain momentum as the month unfolds. And in that regard, you'll probably feel a little bit more of energy, but do continue to take it slow. This is a time where it has been for you to spend time at home and family and things like that. But now with Mars shifting into, this fourth house, it's really going to emphasize that. So this is all about home, family. This is past roots. That's where a lot of energy is going to be taking place for you down here at the bottom of the chart in your fourth house. And through that, you can find good motivation, good drive when your intentions are set on those more root-oriented aspects of life. So anyways, with a conjunction to your ruler, you guys can be quite ambitious, while it's more of that introverted nature. So do see that, but, again, reflect. She's going to be retrograde when this happens, so take it easy there. And then next month when they conjoin, I believe it is, they'll be conjoining here this early part. For good. But when they do, see that energy, but continue to reflect, continue to go within and see, what it is that you're perhaps redoing, rethinking about. Maybe you're redoing some things around the health, around the routine, the day-to-day activities, maybe relating to your work. Continue to do that and continue to reflect on your values, specifically around home and family matters. So that's going to be the early part of the month, as well as the sun opposing up to Neptune from your fourth house. So where there's been opportunities and perhaps a focus on family or home related matters, there is this reminder here this month about Neptune in your 10th house, which is in your career sector. So your guys' career, it's very important for you to connect to it in a way that is, meaningful to you. Neptune is about what's very, very deep. It's what's very, very personal within each of us. So it's almost like a soul calling when it's in the 10th house. So there's a soul calling that's been shaping up for you guys in that 10th house for quite some time. And that's going to play a major role this month. And this is really about giving, contributing, being of service through your work. All of that is going to be highlighted big time for you. And I really recommend that. And finding that balance point between what you are contributing in your work and then, again, whatever else is shifting up for you in the home and family sector, because there certainly is going to be shifts here for you. Major ones, life path ones. So that's the early part of the month. Then on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, after your ruler goes station direct, we've got Mars trining up to Uranus. So this energy here is quite inspiring, and again, it's in the home and family sector. So first of all, it's coming from your 11th house. So if you guys have been mixing things up with who you associate with, like networking, things like that, maybe it's still reflective right now with Uranus retrograde. So maybe you guys are continuing to reflect on your values with, friends, with networks, with community, things like that, which you're also releasing a ton of energy with too, with the South Node transiting here. But this is where the lunar eclipse is going to take place. So you're coming to a culmination point, which I'll talk about. But here with Uranus is, being yourself, networking, connecting to others, group-oriented, that kind of energy, or technology and internet, things like that, is where you'll find a lot of opportunities this month. And I say that because of this trine position, because it's a very opportunistic kind of aspect. So continue with that, be open to it, and actually you'll find that very supportive with home and family matters. This can also mean news coming in that is good for the home or family or past or whatever else that you're involved with here. So be open to that, see that, but the trine position comes quite easy. So it does take that energy to capitalize on it and put energy into it, but it looks quite nice for those two houses. So that's the early part of the month. And then one thing I want to mention is that later on the 21st to the 24th, the second half, Venus will be trining up to that Uranus. So here with this, again, the same kind of energy, but it'll be more personal for you. Okay, it'll be more like you have more inspiration, more of an outlook. In terms of how you feel, and maybe the routine stuff is probably gaining some good momentum, or your work, maybe some opportunities there. So that'll be a little bit later, 21st to the 24th, when Venus goes over this position. But in either case, be open to that, be open to relationships, be open to networking, be open to connecting to your past, your roots, your emotional body, expressing that. That's even the case with Jupiter, really communicating that and putting that out into the open. And what you'll find is that's very supportive this month. So let's go ahead and look at this middle part some more, going a little bit further into it. Mercury is going to be going retrograde this month, but before he does, he's going to be sextiling up to your ruler. So here from the 11th through the 17th, so all around this middle part of the month, your ruler sextiled by Mercury can be actually the communications and the self-expression can be going quite well. You guys have had the North Node transiting your 5th house of self-expression for the past 2 years. So there's a strong life path energy here associated with this for you guys to continue to express, continue to tap into that passion, to have more fun and enjoyment in what you're involved with, and to create. That's what the 5th house really signifies. So with a sextile from Mercury and your ruler Venus, I think you guys can be very mercurial, very sharp. Your intellect can be very good and very keen this middle part of the month, which is good. You're seeing things clearly, or at least can be, but especially about self-expression and things relating to that. So that's something nice for you guys. So do keep that in mind, but also continue to think on how you can express yourself more, how you can have more fun, more passion in your life. And this could be romantic. It could be maybe some of you are thinking about having children. It could be creative, entrepreneurship, whatever it is that's been unfolding for you over the past 2 years, more than likely in that sector. So more new beginnings with that. And like I said, Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 17th after that aspect. So it will be a reflective sort of energy for you to think about and sort of redo. So you're coming up to this time period, and this will take you into next month to treat your self-expression, fun, and joy as a learning process, a learning experience. And especially when it comes to the things you communicate, be willing to redo and rework that stuff, okay? But in either case, there's a lot of things shifting into that 5th house, and that's where your North Node is, so it's very good for you to be keen and focused on that particular area. So one other thing, too, is that around this middle part, let's go ahead and go back to the 13th, actually, is that this is when the solar eclipse takes place. It's a partial solar eclipse, but still always very significant, these eclipses are. And so it's in that 5th, okay? So there's a lot of, new beginnings shaping up for you involving that home and family sector. And this is going to be, it's a pretty large energy. It's going to be mostly a culmination of in the next 6 months. So for those of you intent on this, for those of you setting intentions with this, around the springtime of next year is when you'll find a culmination of a lot of these types of energies that you're involved with. So it's a lowering of energies this middle part of the month because it's the new moon sort of energy. So it's spiritual, it's reflective, it's a very spiritual month anyways. But as the month starts to unfold from that point forward, you can really start to implement any of those intentions and goals or things that you're focused on involving home, family, past roots, etc. So something to look out for there. And again, it's very important for life path. It's very significant, as all these eclipses are. So that's that. And then let's see, the 13th through the 21st, Jupiter will be opposing up to Neptune. So this goes back to what I was saying about balancing your home life, your domestic life with the work life, because you really cannot have one without the other. I mean, they're so crucially important. So if you are super focused on the home and family stuff, remembering the work stuff and incorporate that, especially about that giving I was talking about. And vice versa, if you're all focused heavily on this 10th house, because it just depends on your personal charts, And then there's all this domestic stuff. This is where you want to focus too. And what you'll find is they're both foundations, they're both necessary, and they're both very dependent on each other in order for you to have good, solid foundations in your life. This is very significant because it is a cardinal part of the chart, foundational part of the chart, which is, the roots, the foundations, the anchoring points, and what we're giving. It's our past and our future here with this. So some things to keep in mind, but continuing to expand your mind in terms of possibilities with home and family would be great. Just remember that there is a larger picture, there's a divine path, and it's likely shifting you towards something more fulfilling with your work and career, or anything public, or your legacy and your future. So that's the middle part of the month, very significant. Then on the 17th, like I said, Mercury goes retrograde. At the same time, the sun goes into that 5th house. So here's where I think you'll start to focus more on the self-expression stuff if you aren't already. And it can be quite nice, actually, the expression with the sun in the 5th house. And again, energy levels slowly starting to increase a little bit as well, and probably confidence levels also. So that'll be that 17th, and then from the 18th through going into October and going exact on the end of this month on the 30th, we've got Saturn sextiling up to that north node. So this is where the things really start to become karmic in terms of your future unfoldments and things involving this self-expression or public speaking or entrepreneurship or children or creativity, whatever it is in the 5th house. And it's all coming from this hopefully hard work you've been putting in with your routine or with your health or developing your crafts at work. That's been Saturn transiting your guys' 6th house for the past couple of years. And so if you've been putting in that hard work there, this can really assist in whatever it is these ambitions and passions are that are unfolding for you in that 5th. Okay, so very supportive with Saturn sextiling that, but just really confirming the fact that there's more new beginnings shaping up for you in this 5th house. So the 23rd through about the 25th, we got a couple unique things taking place. The sun does conjoin up to that north node, again signifying shifts and changes about that 5th house for you. Mars squares up to Saturn at this later part of the month. So here we're all going to have a test of our patience. We're all going to have a test of our ability to take it slow and to work hard. And if we have hurdles, if there's things that come up in our path, for you it's relating to that home and family stuff again. Patience is so important with this, taking it slow, but still proactively, one step at a time, putting in that energy. And if you're feeling any type of restrictions around this time period around home and family, it's really, the one way of looking at it is that's really Saturn testing your patience, testing your ability to work hard and to stay persistent at your goals and your intentions. So what will assist you again is a lot of this health, routine, diet stuff, and and that Saturn energy there will unlock the patience necessary, I think, for you guys. And it's also patience in regards to your relationships, since Mars does naturally rule your 7th house, and patience with anything that is important to you internally, which Mars rules your 12th also. So spiritual matters, implementing spirituality, meditation, things like that would be a good way of working with this. So that's that time period. And at that time period too, Pluto goes station direct. So your guys' 8th house, which is all about this transformation of you guys transforming on an inner level, maybe even emotionally, is what you're feeling for the past many years, is becoming more open, more vulnerable in your relationships. And that's going to continue to shift and change this month with Pluto going direct. Really reflect on the past 6 months of what you learned about openness, depth, transparency, and that energy will start to move forward for you as we go into October. So nice positive changes there with that. Pluto is actually very well aspected this month, all other things being considered. So change is very, I think we're all open to it this month. And here I think it's important to open up, the inner life and to have more of that openness with yourself and others. And then that will strongly assist all the self-expression and home family matter stuff, or your emotional body, really. So that's the 23rd, 24th, 25th time period. And then from the 27th through the 28th, we have that lunar eclipse. And this is a total lunar eclipse, very important. It's in your 11th house. Okay, now I talked about the groups, the community, that kind of stuff with the 11th house, but it's also the satisfaction that you get from your work. It's also the income that you get from your work. It's all the gains of that 2nd house. So I want to cover the wide band and the wide range of this, but what I'd really be focused on during this very spiritual lunar eclipse, because it is happening in Pisces, is focus on the past 6 months, because this is where you had that solar eclipse back in May of 2015. So what came to you about networking? What came to you about connecting to your friends or community related things, or giving, or the importance of enjoying your work and having more of that, because again, the greatest enjoyment we get from our work is giving. So things of that nature. And through that, this can be a culmination point for those of you who've been putting in this energy there. And it's interesting because it's not really energy like we're going out and getting it kind of thing. It's Pisces, and it's taking it slow. It's meditative. It's internal. But any inner work, if you want to call it that you've put into this 11th house, you'll find culminating for you now. And maybe you are having more of that enjoyment in your giving process, and wanting to get more involved with community-related things and networking and things like that. So a culmination point, a high point, a spiritual time, reflecting on this around the second half of the month. But there is energy to be utilized, especially around this full moon or this lunar eclipse, to be put into more of this connecting to others and community-oriented energy for you. So that's pretty much it. Mercury retrograde is going to go over the sun on the 30th. So again, signifying more shifts and changes with that 5th house for you. But that's just more of the same, the same stuff I've been talking about going into next month in October. And this 5th house actually is where you're going to notice a lot more shifts and changes happening as the next couple months unfold. So that's the energies for September for you, Taurus. This was a very general look. If you'd like to get more specific, do get in touch for a personal reading, or do check out the weeklies as I go through the weeks of this month, so you can get more specific with that. But in either case, let me know if you have any questions. Take care. I'll talk to you all next time.